So a couple months back, I made 10 freezer meals and I shared that in a mega freezer meal video, and I keep getting comments on that video asking me to share the completed dishes. And so that is exactly what we're gonna do in today's video. We're gonna review the recipes and I'm gonna tell you guys how I liked them, how my family liked them, and what I would do differently if I made them again next time. So I think that sometimes freezer meals can get a reputation for being mushy or bland, but these recipes that I put together were actually pretty dang good. So we're gonna go ahead and go through them one by one. So the first one that I made was Asian chicken lettuce wraps, and this one has some ground chicken in it. It's super easy to put together, and then basically you just throw it in the freezer. When you're ready to cook it, you can thaw it out, or you can also put it into the crock pot frozen. I used to do that a lot when I commuted and I was away from home longer, but basically you just cook this in the crock pot until it is all cooked through, and then you can crumble and stir everything together. This one was pretty good. I think it would be really good for a meal prep, and you could serve it on rice or in lettuce wraps. The only suggestion I would make on this one would be to add some hot sauce. So one of the reasons why I really like freezer cooking is that it can honestly save you so much money, and the reason why is because you can actually buy things in bulk and use them for multiple freezer meals so that you can stock up when there are sales, and you can even take advantage of bulk stores. But there's also a way to actually save money and reduce waste when cleaning your home, and that is with Blueland. I'm super excited that they are sponsoring today's video. Unlike traditional liquid cleaners that are sold in single-use plastics that inevitably pile up, with Blueland, all you need to clean your house is this nickel-sized tablet. How cool is that? You can stop paying for those wasteful plastic bottles when you purchase your cleaning supplies. You're just throwing money away when those are piling up in the trash. When you go to the store, you are gonna pay at least $5 to $6 for a bottle of cleaner or hand soap. And with Blueland, you pay just $2.25 per refill. Another great thing about Blueland is that they don't use any single-use plastic in any component, from their bottles to their tablets, wrappers to shipping materials. They are also EPA Safer Choice certified, which means that EPA scientists have evaluated every ingredient in the product to make sure it meets Safer Choice's stringent criteria. And best of all, their products are super effective and really convenient. And I really like that they just take up less space in my cabinets. Like, who needs a bunch of cleaning products and bottles taking up space? Not me. All you have to do is fill your Forever bottle with warm to hot water, then drop in one of the tablets into the water bottle. Once it's fully dissolved, put on the nozzle and you can use it in minutes. There's no shaking or stirring required. I also love the scents of their products and just the fact that they are scented. That's something that sounds weird, but it's kind of important to me when I'm cleaning, is for things to smell good. And you definitely don't want to miss this, because you are going to be able to save money on your first Blueland kit. I'll have a link in my description box below. You can click that to get 15% off. You don't want to miss this. They never do this. So definitely click that link down below and get 15% off your first Blueland kit. Okay, so the next recipe I had made was a chicken primavera, and this one is kind of unique in that you actually cook it on the stovetop rather than a slow cooker, and it includes chicken and tomatoes and green beans. So basically you thaw it out in the fridge and then you cook it in a skillet until the chicken is cooked through. This one, I will say that the tomatoes do break down into the sauce. Obviously, when you freeze cherry tomatoes and then you thaw them out and you cook them in a skillet, they are going to break down a little bit. But I thought the flavors in this one were really good. I did have to add a little bit of extra salt and pepper, but I feel like that's par for the course. I really liked how the green beans turned out, and this is a nice spring dish. I feel like you can sprinkle some Parmesan cheese over the top. I garnished with some parsley and then serve it with a baguette or some sort of bread to mop up any of the broth. Okay, so next up is a honey sesame chicken, and you can use either chicken thighs or chicken breasts for this. I always prefer chicken breasts, so that's what I use. This one has pretty minimal ingredients, and for this one, I also thought that it could have used a little bit of extra hot sauce. Obviously, you can adjust that to your taste, but you just, once you freeze it, then you can either put it into the slow cooker frozen or thaw it out and cook it on low for 4 to 6 hours. It does really retain its shape, as you can see, and I garnished this with some sesame seeds and some sliced green onion. Serve it with rice, and this one was also pretty good. Next up is an almond chicken recipe, and I was really excited to try this one because it's something I frequently get when we get Chinese food. And for this one, you basically put your chicken breast into the bag along with zucchini and bell pepper and onion and all of your seasonings and broth. And then this one, if you want to, you can thicken it with some cornstarch. I frequently do that when I do things in the slow cooker or the Instant Pot, and if the gravy or the sauce is too thin or thinner than I want it, then I just thicken it with a little bit of cornstarch whisked with cold water. But this one turned out really good. One thing I would recommend doing for this recipe is adding the toasted almonds. So make sure that you toast those up on the stovetop when you're ready to serve it, and also garnish with some green onion and serve with rice. And this will definitely be a substitute for my takeout almond chicken. Okay, next up is the slow cooker tortellini with meat sauce. This is also another one that turned out really great, and I will definitely be making it again. Basically, you put all of the sauce ingredients into the bag and then you freeze that. You cook it in the slow cooker and then basically add your frozen tortellini towards the end and cook it for about 30 to 45 minutes until it's cooked through. Mine turned out more like a little bit of a soup, but that's fine. It was delicious. It almost tasted like lasagna soup, so definitely recommend that one. The next one is some pork chops with gravy. So I was excited to try this one also because one of my favorite ways to have pork chops is actually in the slow cooker because it makes them super tender. And then this recipe has onion soup mix, pork gravy, cream of chicken soup, and then some bouillon and some seasonings. And once you add everything to the bag along with the pork chops, obviously freeze it. This one you can also cook from frozen. Like I said, when I used to work away from home and I had an hour commute each way, it was always really helpful for me to be able to cook things from frozen. That way they could stay in the slow cooker longer. But I did thicken this gravy up, and this one turned out so good. Highly recommend it. I served it with some green beans over some rice, but you could also serve it over mashed potatoes. Okay, so this recipe is sausage and peppers, and this one is really easy also because it has very minimal ingredients. Basically just sausage, peppers, onions, marinara sauce, a little bit of Italian seasoning, and some minced garlic. So you can pour everything into your bag. And then this one, I believe you can cook in the Instant Pot. I cooked mine on the slow cooker, but the great thing about this one is that you can really just use it for so many different things. I chose to have ours on pasta, but I think this is one that my sister made, and she said that they had it on like hoagie buns as like Italian sausage sandwiches. So that is definitely an option as well, or you could cut it up and just have it with veggies. Okay, so this is probably my favorite recipe out of the whole batch. So if you like buffalo chicken, definitely try this one. This is a recipe where you cook the pasta in the broth in the slow cooker after the chicken is done cooking. So after you add all of your ingredients to the bag and freeze that, this one was frozen solid when I cooked it. So I just ran it under some hot water and put everything frozen into the crock pot. I cooked this one on low, or I'm sorry, I cooked it on high actually because I was cooking it on a weekend. Sometimes if I'm cooking a slow cooker recipe and I'm home, I'll start it on high to kind of get it thawed out and then switch it down to low. It just depends what I've got going on. But after the chicken is cooked, you want to remove that and shred it. I'm using this Fiber Gourmet pasta, which is really good if you're looking for a lower calorie pasta alternative, and you can't even really tell it's different. This took about 20 minutes to cook in the slow cooker on low, but it's definitely going to depend on how hot your slow cooker cooks. I find that every single one is different, and so just check it. And then after the pasta is cooked through, you can shred the chicken, obviously, and add that back into the pasta with the sauce, and there is enough sauce in this recipe that it soaks into the chicken and the pasta, and it's so good. I garnished this one with green onions, and everyone really liked it. Even my son Connor, who loves buffalo chicken and buffalo chicken flavored things, really liked it. So highly recommend that one, and it was delicious. Okay, next one is super simple. This is barbecue meatballs with pineapple. So you just need a couple ingredients, frozen meatballs and some green peppers, fresh pineapple, and a bottle of barbecue sauce. So once everything is added into your freezer bag, you can go ahead and either refrigerate that if you're going to make it within the next couple days, or freeze it, obviously if you're doing a freezer meal, and then just empty everything into the crock pot and cook it on low. This one really just needs to heat through because the meatballs are already cooked. That's kind of an easy one about this particular recipe, but I did go ahead and cook this on high just until everything was done. And then I also chose to serve this one over rice. I would say this one is pretty good, but I definitely want to try it again with a different barbecue sauce. I tried to use the G. Hughes barbecue sauce because it would save on sugar and calories, but I definitely think it would turn out better if I used like Sweet Baby Ray's or something else. So I'll probably go ahead and try that next time. Don't forget to check out Blueland. I'll have that link in the description box below where you can get 15% off your first kit. They don't do that very often, so don't let that pass you by. And thanks again for watching. If you want to watch the original freezer meal video where I put all of these together, you can click on that on the screen right here.